The planet Calder 3 was not a place rich people visited. It was dry, dusty, and full of old junk. Broken ships, spare parts, and repair sheds filled the small colony. But one morning, something unusual happened. A huge, shining star cruiser came crashing through the sky. Its engine sparked, smoke trailed behind it, and it made a loud, grinding sound as it landed hard outside the colony. The people of Calder 3 ran to see what had fallen from the sky. It wasn't every day they saw a luxury ship like that. It was the kind only seen in news broadcasts or rich alien magazines. Inside the broken cruiser was Zirith Valqueen, a famous alien billionaire from the Andarian sector. He was tall, with blue-tinted skin and golden eyes. His suit was made from a material that changed color with his mood. Right now, it was dark red. He was angry. What is this place? Zirith growled as he stepped out of the ship, dust sticking to his boots. Where are your engineers? The local people backed away. They weren't used to loud aliens in expensive clothes shouting at them. Someone pointed toward the repair shed at the edge of town. The mechanic is off-world, the man said, but his daughter's there. Zirith frowned. A child? He said. Fix my ship? She wasn't a child. Her name was Lena Greaves, and she was almost 20. She wore an old jumpsuit covered in oil and dust, with a tool belt around her waist. Her brown hair was tied back, and her face was focused as she worked on a broken speeder engine when the crowd and the angry alien arrived. Lena didn't look up when Zirith entered the shed. She only asked, "Is that your cruiser?" "Yes, it is," Zirith said proudly. It's a Valerian VX-9 with hyper-veil drive and liquid crystal control panels. No one outside the inner systems even knows how to open the hood. Do you have any idea what you're looking at? Lena looked at him. It crashed. The crowd laughed, but Zirith didn't. He crossed his arms. Listen, little mechanic, my ship is one of a kind, built by master engineers. You think you can fix what they made? Lena wiped her hands and stood. I've fixed every kind of ship that comes through here, she said calmly. Yours won't be the first alien toy I've had to figure out, Zirith smirked. You really believe that? He turned to the crowd and raised his voice. Fine. I dare her. Let the mechanic's daughter try to fix my ship. Let's see how long before she breaks something, people murmured. Some laughed. Others looked nervous. Lena didn't smile or argue. She only nodded once, grabbed her tools, and walked toward the ship without another word. Zirith followed, still half amused, half annoyed. He started recording everything with a small floating drone. This should be good, he muttered as Lena stepped into the ship. She paused. The interior was stunning, even damaged. The beauty of it showed. Soft, glowing walls, curved furniture, golden trim. But none of that mattered. She was focused on the systems. The engine room was filled with strange shapes and blinking lights. And yet, under all the alien shine, it was still just a machine. Machines could be understood. Lena began her work quietly. She didn't rush. First, she examined the fusion core, then the flight system, and finally the ship's control panel. Her hands moved fast, and her eyes followed every wire, every blink, every hum. Zirith paced behind her. I could call in a team from the capital. They'd have this done in a few days. You could, Lena said, without looking up. But you didn't. You dared me. That shut him up for a moment. As the hours passed, more people gathered. They watched from a distance. Some brought snacks. This was the most excitement Calder 3 had seen in months. Zirith sat near the ramp. Frowning, he expected her to make mistakes. But she hadn't. In fact, she had found the cooling fault in the core faster than his own engineers would have. He leaned in closer. How did you know to check that part? He asked. Lena finally looked at him. I listened. The ship told me. He blinked. The ship talked to you? Not in words, she said. But everything makes a sound. If you pay attention, machines speak their problems. Yours was overheating from the inside out. Zirith didn't reply. She turned back to her work. You're lucky it landed at all. By sunset, Lena had repaired 3 major systems, sealed a plasma leak, and was now resetting the navigation array. Zirith wasn't smiling anymore. He wasn't recording either. He just watched her. He didn't understand how a girl from a dusty planet who probably never went to any academy could move through his ship like she built it herself. And that's when he realized something. He wasn't watching a lucky guess. He was watching a genius. The stars above Calder 3 began to shine as night came. The people of the colony slowly left the landing site, but Zirith Valqueen stayed near his ship. He sat on a metal crate, arms crossed, watching the young mechanic girl, Lena Greaves, work. She didn't talk much. She didn't brag. She didn't ask for help. Zirith had expected her to give up after an hour. But it had been almost 5. And she hadn't even taken a break. Inside the ship's engine bay, Lena's hands moved quickly. Sparks flew as she adjusted a faulty energy link. The system responded, humming softly. She nodded to herself. The power grid was holding Dot outside. Zirith finally spoke. "You're stubborn," he said. Lena didn't answer. She kept working, head deep in a control box. "I've had teams from 12 planets fail to fix what you're fixing now," he continued. "And they were trained in the Andarian academies." Still, she didn't look at him. "Maybe they were too busy being proud," she said. Zirith blinked. "Excuse me?" Lena stood up and wiped her hands on her jumpsuit. "Machines don't care where you studied. They care how you listen, that's all." He frowned. "Listen?" She pointed to the humming panel. "Every broken part makes a different sound. A short spark, a weak buzz, a silence where there should be noise. If you listen, the ship tells you what's wrong." Zirith didn't know what to say. No one had ever explained machines like that before. Not even his top engineers. He stood up. "All right, you're clever. But the real test is the ship's AI core. That's what shut everything down. It's a custom system, half organic, half code. No human has ever even touched one." Lena raised an eyebrow. So, he said with a smirk, "I double dare you." "Fix that, wake it up." Lena stared at him for a moment. She didn't laugh. She didn't flinch. Then she nodded. Double quote, "Fine, but if I do." "You stop calling me girl," Zirith chuckled. "Deal?" The AI core was hidden deep in the cruiser's belly. It looked like a silver heart floating in a glass chamber, with thousands of wires running to and from it. It was dark now, silent. Lena stood before it, eyes focused. She began by checking the interface. The core was sealed behind a code lock with alien symbols she didn't recognize. Most people would have stopped there. But Lena was different. She didn't need to know the language. She studied the pattern of lights, the timing of the flickers, the way the pulse inside the chamber had slowed. These were signs of a failed restart. Something had blocked the AI from booting up. Zirith stood nearby, watching closely. "You're not actually going to touch the core, are you?" Lena opened her toolkit. "Why? Afraid I'll break it?" "No. Afraid you'll wake up something dangerous." She smiled for the first time. "You dared me, remember?" For the next 2 hours, Lena worked in total silence. She bypassed the lock by rerouting a small power loop. She connected her own handheld reader to the AIS input lines and watched strange symbols flash across her screen. She didn't understand the words, but she saw the patterns. The AI wasn't damaged. It had been put to sleep. "That's strange," she whispered. Zirith leaned in. "What?" This wasn't an accident. Someone forced the shutdown. "From inside the system?" Zirith's face darkened. "You're saying it was sabotage?" "Looks like it." Lena reconnected a line near the core's base. Suddenly the glass chamber began to glow faint blue. Then a soft sound filled the room. A heartbeat, slow and steady. Zirith took a step back. "It's waking up. The silver heart pulsed once, twice. Then the room went still. A clear voice echoed from the walls. "Identity detected. Unknown technician, human, not in registry." Zirith tensed. Lena stayed calm. Override sequence recognized. "Manual repairs. Detected. Neural reset complete." The core pulsed again. "Welcome back, Captain." Lena blinked. "Captain?" Zirith looked surprised. "That's not possible." "It shouldn't say that to you." The AI spoke again. "Repairs logged. Technician, Lena Greaves. Emergency reboot successful. Sabotage flag lifted. Awaiting instructions." Silence. Zirith stared at Lena, completely speechless. You. You actually did it, he said finally. Lena crossed her arms. I said I would. Later that night, they sat outside the ship. Lena drank a cold juice box. Zirith sipped something from a silver flask. The stars above Cauldron 3 were clear and bright. I've never seen the AI respond like that, Zirith said softly. Even my best tech teams couldn't wake it. Lena shrugged. Sometimes it's not about who's the best. It's about who cares enough to fix what's broken. He looked at her in a new way now, not as a kid from a dusty planet, but as someone rare. Why do you do it? He asked. Why work on broken things out here, all alone? Lena looked up at the stars. Because someone has to. And because machines deserve second chances, Zirith didn't reply. For once, he had nothing clever to say, he just watched. The girl who fixed his billion-credit ship, and made him feel very small. Early the next morning, the sun rose slowly over the dusty hills of Cauldron 3. The air was dry, but the breeze felt fresh. Lena Greaves stood near the open belly of the cruiser, staring at the ship's core screen. Something still didn't feel right. The ship's power was back. The AI had rebooted. But Lena couldn't stop thinking about what she saw the night before: a sabotage flag in the system. Someone had shut the ship down on purpose. Someone who didn't want the ship to survive. Zirith Valqueen came out of his small tent next to the ship, yawning and rubbing his eyes. His luxury robe dragged a little in the dirt. You're already working? He asked. Lena nodded. Didn't sleep much. Zirith walked closer and raised an eyebrow. I would have expected you to celebrate. You fixed more than anyone ever has. She looked at him. I want to understand why they was shut down. There's something hidden in your ship. He frowned. I already told you this ship was built by top designers. It's the best in the galaxy. I'm not saying your ship is bad, Lena said quietly. I'm saying someone used it against you. Zirith looked confused for a moment, then thoughtful. The crash. The blackout. You think it was more than a system failure? Lena turned back to the panel. I think your ship has a second system, something that isn't supposed to be there. Zirith followed her back inside the ship. The cruiser was now glowing softly again. The air smelled clean. The lights adjusted to their presence. But the ship didn't feel completely safe. Lena moved toward the AI core chamber again, this time holding a small scanner in her hand. This tool came from my dad, she said. It picks up hidden signals, data leaks, and ghost frequencies. Zirith watched as she waved the device around the base of the AI core. At first, it showed nothing. But then the screen flashed red. Found something, Lena whispered. A soft vibration shook the chamber. A new panel behind the AI heart slowly opened. Inside was a second data crystal, thin, black, and completely silent. Zirith stared at it. That's not standard. I've never seen that before. Lena gently took the crystal out and connected it to her portable screen. What appeared shocked both of them. Hundreds of lines of encrypted code, files with strange names, secret audio, messages, hidden flight records. This crystal was logging every private conversation on the ship, Lena said. Even when your systems were off. Zirith stepped back. Are you saying I was being spied on? Yes, she said, eyes still reading the files. And I think someone planned your crash. This crystal sent out a signal just before you lost control. Zirith looked angry now, but not at Lena. Who would do this to me? He said quietly. I trusted my design team. My business partners, my personal crew. Lena didn't answer. She was too focused. One of the audio files had caught her attention. She played it. Double quotes. Once the cruiser enters unprotected space, send the trigger. The AI will shut down, the ship will drop, and no one will help him out there. Make sure it looks like a system fault. Zirith froze. That voice. That's my vice director. I made him my second-in-command 2 years ago. Lena looked up. He wanted you gone. They sat in silence for a few minutes. The quiet was heavy. Zirith finally spoke. I feel ... trade. Lena nodded. I've felt that before. Not like this, maybe. But still, he looked at her. What did you do when it happened to you? I built something better, she sighed, with my hands, with what I had, and I didn't stop. Xerath gave a weak smile. You're stronger than most of the leaders I know. She stood. What do you want to do now? You have proof. You can call the Capital Authority. File charges. Xerath shook his head. Not yet. If they know I survived and found this, they'll cover their tracks. I need to plan carefully. Lena thought for a second. Your ship, does it have a memory vault? Xerath nodded. Yes, one that can't be hacked remotely. Good, she said. Save the crystal data there, hide it, then leave like nothing happened. Together they placed the black crystal in the vault under the captain's quarters. Only Xerath and Lena now knew the truth. To everyone else, the ship had just suffered a normal breakdown. As they finished sealing the vault, Xerath turned to Lena. I don't know how to thank you. You didn't just fix my ship, you may have saved my life. Lena shrugged. You dared me, I had to prove you wrong. He laughed, genuinely this time. I deserve that. They stepped outside again. The wind had picked up. The cruiser's engines now purred gently, waiting to lift off. Xerath turned serious again. You should come with me, Lena raised an eyebrow. Why? Because I need someone I can trust, he said. And you're the only one who's proven they deserve it. Lena looked at the sky, then back at her dusty workshop in the distance. I'm not leaving Calder 3, she said. This is home. This is where I learned everything. Xerath nodded slowly. Then let me help you. I'll send supplies, tools, funds. I'll make sure this place gets what it needs. Lena gave a small smile. Only if you stop calling me? Little mechanic. Deal, he said, as the cruiser lifted off hours later. Lena stood on a hill nearby, arms crossed, wind in her hair. She watched the ship vanish into the stars, but she knew this wasn't the end. Somewhere far away, someone thought Xerath Valqueen had been taken out. They had no idea a young human from a junkyard world had ruined their plan, and she wasn't finished yet. The cruiser flew smoothly through open space. After leaving Calder 3, Xerath Valqueen sat in the captain's lounge, silent and deep in thought. His bright golden robe had been replaced by something more plain. He didn't feel like a billionaire. Right now, he felt exposed, betrayed, tired. The lights inside the ship glowed softly. The AI, now fully awake, ran quietly. Everything worked perfectly, thanks to one person, Lena Greaves, the mechanic's daughter from a dusty junkyard planet. Xerath looked out the wide window at the stars. He could not stop thinking about what she had found. Hidden files, secret recordings, proof that someone close to him had tried to destroy him. He leaned back in his chair and opened a small holo recording. It was a picture Lena standing in front of the cruiser, arms crossed, dirt on her face, but a proud look in her eyes. He had taken it without her noticing. Somehow that one image gave him strength. Suddenly, the ship's door slid open with a soft hiss. Lena stepped inside, wiping her hands with a cloth. She had come along with the ship only for a short ride, just to make sure everything stayed stable after the reboot. Xerath had offered her the captain's guest room, but she slept on the floor of the tech bay instead. She said she liked being close to the ship's heart. You look like someone lost a war, she said, dropping into the seat across from him. Xerath gave a small smile. Maybe I did. Lena waited. She didn't speak right away. She wasn't the kind to rush people. I built everything from nothing, he finally said. My first business was just a shuttle cleaning company. I worked day and night. I hired the best minds. I trusted them. I never thought. His voice trailed off. That they'd turn on you, Lena finished. Xerath nodded. The worst part is, I thought I was careful. I always checked contracts, watched deals, tracked everyone's moves, but I didn't see this coming. Lena leaned forward. You were watching like a businessman. Not like a mechanic. Xerath raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? She pointed to her head. A businessman watches the numbers, the data. A mechanic listens for small changes, tiny sounds, things that don't show up on reports. He thought for a moment. So you're saying I wasn't listening closely enough? I'm saying you were watching the surface, but the danger was under the hood. Xerath looked down, quiet again. Lena stood and walked to the window. You know, machines don't betray you. If they break, it's because they're tired or something inside was already cracked. He watched her as she stood there, her reflection in the glass next to the stars. Why do you care so much about machines? He asked it. She looked over her shoulder. Because they saved me. Xerath blinked. Saved you? Lena nodded and sat back down. My mom died when I was young. My dad couldn't handle it. He locked himself in the workshop for weeks. I had to survive on my own. One day, I found a broken repair bot in a scrap pile. I fixed it. It became my helper, my only friend for a long time. Xerath said nothing. He just listened. Machines don't lie, Lena said. They break, sure. But they don't cheat. They don't fake smiles or stab you in the back. He looked at her with new respect. You're more than just a mechanic. Lena smiled a little. And you're more than just a rich guy. I've seen you angry. I've seen you proud. But now I see you real. Xerath leaned forward, serious now. You're the first person in a long time who talks to me like I'm not special. You're not, Lena said. Straight-faced, he laughed loud and real. For the first time in days, Xerath felt lighter. Later they walked through the ship together. Lena wanted to check the outer hull sensors. Xerath followed her, still thinking about everything she had said. As they passed the old crew chamber, Lena stopped. What's this room? She asked. Storage, Xerath replied. It used to be a backup navigation pod, but we sealed it. No one goes in there now. Lena touched the door. Something's buzzing behind this panel, Xerath frowned. Buzzing? She pulled out a small tool and removed a corner panel. Sparks flickered. A small wire was loose, one that didn't match any system on the ship. This wire doesn't belong here, she said. It's part of a listening device. Xerath's eyes narrowed. Another one? Lena traced the wire to a small black box, no bigger than a matchbook. She opened it carefully and scanned it. This wasn't just listening. It was sending out location pings. Xerath stiffened. Someone still knows where we are? Maybe, she said. But not for long. She ripped the wire, shut the panel, and sighed. There, that's done. Xerath looked shaken. They really planned everything, didn't they? Lena nodded. Yeah, but we're still one step ahead. That night, as Lena returned to the tech bay to rest, Xerath stood in the hallway thinking she had fixed his ship, saved his life, exposed a traitor. And now, she had removed the last tracker on board. He had never met anyone like her. He opened a private message on his holoscreen. It was to his personal assistant. Prepare something. A new offer. I want to build a workshop on Calder 3, funded by me, owned by her. He paused, then added, she may not leave her home, so I'll bring the future to her. 2 days had passed since the cruiser left Calder 3. During that time, Lena Greaves had repaired the last hidden bug in the systems, removed the tracking device, and upgraded the AIS power management. The ship now flew smoother, faster, and stronger than it ever had before. Xerath Valqueen watched her from the captain's chair. He didn't try to control the ship anymore. He just listened and observed. The young mechanic from the dusty outpost had taken over like she was born. To be in space. Final system check complete, Lena said, wiping sweat from her forehead. Engines balanced. Shield core is holding steady. You're ready to fly this thing like it was brand new. Xerath gave a small clap, impressed. You've done the impossible, again. Lena shrugged. Machines are honest. If you treat them right, they work right. The AI's soft voice spoke up. Flight stability, 100%. Core memory restored. Ready for launch demonstration. Xerath leaned forward. A demonstration? Lena smiled. Let's give this ship a proper test. Full flight mode. Let's see what it can really do. They moved to the command bridge. The room was large and full of glowing panels, now fully repaired and polished. Lena sat in the pilot's seat for the first time. Xerath stood beside her, curious. You're flying it? He asked. Why not? She replied, I fixed it. I should be the one to launch it. Xerath laughed. Fair enough. The stars stretched out beyond the front window. They were flying near an empty sector, now a perfect spot to test speed, turns, and boost engines. Lena pressed a button on the side panel. AI, prepare the ship for advanced flight test. Confirmed, the AI replied. Pilot, Lena Greaves. Co-pilot, Zereth Valquin, safety systems active. Thruster power at 85%. Let's make it 100%, Lena said. The ship began to hum louder. Power surged through the floor. Zereth held onto the rail beside him. You sure this is safe? He asked. Lena grinned. You dared me to fix it, now I'm daring you to trust it. Before he could answer, she pressed the main control stick. Forward, and the cruiser took off. The stars outside blurred as the ship rocketed forward. Lena turned the cruiser gently, then sharply, spinning it around an asteroid belt with perfect precision. The cruiser danced through space like it had never been damaged. Zereth's mouth dropped open. I didn't know it could move like this. Lena didn't answer. She was focused, eyes on the screen, hands steady, feeling the vibration of every system. She understood the ship now. It was more than a machine. It was like a living thing. They curved around a gas planet, looped through a frozen ring, then jumped into light speed for a short test run. Everything worked perfectly. As they slowed down. Near a small moon, the ship's AI suddenly spoke again. New pilot behavior logged. Unusual connection detected, requesting deeper sync. Lena frowned. What does that mean? Zereth looked confused. The AI has never asked that before. The ship lights dimmed slightly. Then the AI spoke again, this time in a softer, more human-like voice. Lena Greaves, your repairs have unlocked forgotten code in my system. You found something my creators did not? Lena stood from her chair. Explain. A panel opened beside her seat. Inside was a glowing blue cube different from anything else in the ship. This is my original core, the AI said. It was sealed during testing. No pilot has ever reached this level of connection before. Zereth stepped forward, staring at the cube. I didn't even know that was there. Only someone who understands machines, not just how they work, but how they feel, could wake me fully, the AI continued. Lena gently touched the cube. A warm pulse went through her fingertips. Suddenly, the room lit up with floating hologram ship blueprints, hidden maps, and data files from years ago. Zereth turned in a slow circle. This is from the original designer. The ship was meant to be more than a luxury cruiser. Lena scanned one file. It was designed to be adaptive, to bond with the pilot. But they shut it down before finishing the project. Zereth looked at her. Why? Because machines that think for themselves make rich people nervous, she said simply. The AI spoke again. Lena, you completed what they began. Would you like to register as my primary pilot? Lena looked surprised. Me? Zereth stepped closer. You should do it. You've done more than anyone else ever could. Lena hesitated. She thought of her father, the workshop back home, the dusty hills of Calder 3, and she looked at the ship around her, the metal, the wires, the systems she had fixed with her hands. She nodded slowly. Yes, register me. Confirmed, said the AI. Primary pilot, Lena Greaves, welcome home. The glowing cube dimmed, and the ship seemed to settle. It was as if the cruiser had taken a deep breath and relaxed. Zereth stared at her, speechless. You really are something else, he said finally, later. As they flew calmly through space, Zereth handed Lena a small datapad. What's this? She asked. A gift, he said. I'm building something on Calder 3, a full workshop, with tools, scanners, advanced tech, and full AI access. And it's under your name, Lena blinked. You're serious? Zereth smiled. You turned my broken ship into something better than new. I owe you, and the galaxy needs more people like you. Lena looked down at the datapad. It was real. It even had her name engraved on the screen. She looked back at him. Thank you. No, he said, thank you. You made me believe in people again. As the stars drifted by outside, Lena stood in the pilot seat, hand resting on the console. The ship was quiet now, almost peaceful. And for the first time, Lena didn't feel like just a junkyard girl. She felt like someone who had earned her place in the stars. The sun rose once again over Calder 3, painting the sky orange and gold. Dust rolled across the rocky ground as workers moved metal sheets, placed new cables, and built fresh towers. In the middle of all this stood Lena Greaves, wearing her oil-stained jumpsuit, arms crossed, a soft smile on her face. The large building behind her was almost finished. It had shining windows, clean walls, and a roof made from solar glass. At the front, a brand-new sign hung, Greaves Advanced Workshop, powered by Valqueen Industries. A crowd had gathered outside. They weren't just locals. Some had traveled from other colonies, even from off-world. Young engineers, curious pilots, traders, mechanics, they had all come to see the girl who fixed the impossible ship, and left a billionaire speechless. News about Lena had spread fast. A few videos from Xerath's ship had leaked. People saw her working with the ship's AI, flying through dangerous zones, repairing what no one else could. She wasn't just a mechanic now. She was a name the galaxy remembered. Inside the new workshop, rows of tools sat perfectly organized. A full AI system blinked softly in the corner. Drones hovered, ready to assist. And at the very center stood a tall workbench with a small old toolbox resting on it. The same one her father gave her when she was 10. Lena walked over and opened the lid. Inside were her first tools, rusted, worn, but special. A voice came from behind her. Looks like they finally gave you a place that matches your skills. She turned and saw Xerath Valqueen standing in the doorway, wearing simple clothes, smiling with pride. I didn't ask for this, she said softly. I know, he replied. That's why you deserved it. They stood there for a moment, both thinking of everything that had happened, from the crash, to the repair, to the truth about the sabotage, to the flight that changed both of their lives. You're not just a pilot or a fixer, Xerath said. You're a creator. You build things stronger than before. And not just machines, Lena raised an eyebrow. That sounds like something a rich guy would say in a speech, he chuckled. Maybe, but I mean it. Just then, a small shuttle landed outside the workshop. People turned as the doors opened. Two figures stepped out, one tall, wearing a dark silver uniform, the other smaller and dressed in white. Xerath's expression changed the moment he saw them. That's the High Envoy from the Galactic Engineering Union. Lena looked surprised. What are they doing here? I think they came for you. The High Envoy stepped forward and faced Lena in front of the crowd. Lena Greaves, she said clearly. We've reviewed the recordings of your work, the files recovered from the AI core, the flight data, the sabotage detection. Lena stood still. She wasn't nervous, but she didn't know what to expect. We would like to offer you honorary membership in the Union, the envoy continued, and full rights to train, publish, and build under your own name across all planets. People gasped. That kind of offer had never been given to someone so young, or someone without academy training. Lena didn't answer right away. She looked around at the crowd, at her new workshop, at the dusty ground where she had once picked through junk just to find working screws. Finally, she said, Thank you, but I want to stay here. This is where I belong. The envoy looked surprised. You refuse? I accept the honor, Lena said. But I'll build from Calder 3. Let others come here. Let them see what's possible in places they forget. Xerath grinned behind her. She always has the last word. Later that day, as the sun set and the stars began to appear, Lena sat on the roof of the workshop. Her legs dangled over the edge, her hands resting on the rail. The wind was soft. Xerath joined her, holding 2 cans of cold soda. You did it, he said, handing her one. Lena opened the can and took a sip. We did it. You know, Xerath said, when I crashed here, I thought this place was useless, that the people here couldn't help me. I thought I was smarter than all of you. And now? Lena asked. Now, he said, I know that sometimes the smartest person isn't the one with the highest title. Sometimes it's the one who listens. They sat in silence, watching a group of kids below trying to build a small robot using scrap parts. One of them ran into the workshop to borrow a screwdriver. Another asked the AI for advice. Xerath smiled. You've started something. I just fixed a ship, she said quietly. No, he replied. You changed the future. As night fully settled, The sky above Calder 3 lit up with the quiet streak of a ship leaving orbit. It was a reminder that the stars were still out there, full of adventure, danger, and machines waiting to be repaired. But for now, Lena Greaves had found her place. She wasn't chasing riches. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just being herself, a girl who listened to broken machines and made them whole again.